get us started as we work out some of those issues. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paulo. Welcome to Sunday meditation. We will start with an aspiration, sort of like our beginning aspirations. All Buddhist, at least as far as I know, most Buddhist traditions have this idea of compassion, equanimity, joy, and love build into our motivation. What brings us to meditate? What brings us to everyday life? So we'll start by praying. And are you going to be able to project the prayers? Probably not.
If this works again.
Okay.
Some troubles.
Well, would you share one of these with her? I think they're over there.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll start at the top of the page with aspirations for boundless thoughts, and then we'll move on to Shantideva, way of the Bodhisattva. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings be pain-free and live happily. May no beings cling to those near, nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all being pains. So that's kind of the motivation for everyday life, really, from a Buddhist point of view. And then talk a little bit about the practice this morning. This morning we're going to be doing two main styles of meditation or modes of meditation. The first one is going to be focused on the breath. So, I'll guide us through just kind of focusing on the breath, the immediacy of the breath. Thoughts will arise. We might get distracted, but ultimately we're trying to come back to the breath over and over again as we get distracted. It's okay to get distracted. We have mind, we have thoughts. So we just come back to meditating on the breath, and then I'll intersperse every 5 to 7 minutes. I'll chant Hung and I'll prompt it. We'll chant Hung for about 2 minutes, and this is a more dynamic meditation, right? So it's not just the breath, but it's like a sound. So we're kind of transitioning from something more, less dynamic. As the breath is still moving, it's still here now, to a sound and just meditating on that sound. In particular, the chanting of the syllable Hung was given to our teacher Anne as she was in Tibet with her teacher Atsum Trungpa, and asked for something that would be profound for beginners and advanced practitioners and everybody in between. And that's what he offered to us, was this chanting of the Hung. So I just invite you to be curious and just join. For those who are out of far, if you can unmute yourself and chant, that's really nice too. Awesome. Well, I'll stop talking and we can get to meditating. And settle into your seat. To start out, I like to kind of wiggle back and forth, side to side, and find a place where both my sits bones are making equal amount of contact across my seat, whether it's a cushion or it's a chair. If you're in a chair, make sure that both of your feet are planted on the ground and you're not just leaning back. You're trying to find a place where you have a nice foundation. And then from that foundation, you start to notice your spine and your vertebra, and we stack vertebra on top of vertebra like coins, all the way to our shoulders or our cervical spine. And then our cervical spine, we tuck our chin in ever so slightly, like there's a string at the top of your head. And this way, your entire spine, including your cervical spine, is straight and in line with each other. There should be little tiny effort at trying to keep your back straight, but really it should be relatively easeful here. As you connect with your seat and you allow your spine to be straight, just letting go of the stress of the week, letting go of the list of things to do. It's not getting done now, we're just here now with our breaths. Bringing the mind home to the body, to the sensation of the breath at the nose, to the expanding of the rib cage. Maybe you track your breath all the way down to your dough, the bottom of the belly, about 3 finger widths down from the navel and 3 finger widths in. Starting your breath deep inside your belly, allowing your rib cage to expand. Then topping off at the collarbones. Then making your exhalation just as long as your inhalation. Now that you've arrived here, I invite you to connect with our 3 pillars of support. The first one is Earth, Mother Earth, supporting us in her embrace, gravitational embrace. Noticing how you're just here, you're just allowed to be on her surface, no judgment, no expectation. She just supports us to live here, to sit here. It might be nice to fill into the fact that as she braces us with her gravitational pull, our spines are directly aligned with the center of Earth and being pulled directly towards it. Regardless of where you are, always being pulled towards the middle. She also embraces us in a magnetic field that protects us from from harmful radiation of outer space. All of this without any expectation or judgment, just being supported here. The second pillar of support is our bone structure, our skeletal system, allowing us to be seated here, holding us up, our spine being straight, our sits bones connecting with the chair, our rib cage protecting our lungs, just feeling into that support. Third pillar of support is our central channel. In traditional Indian, Buddhist anatomy, our consciousness resides in our central channel, which starts at the top of our head and finishes about 3 to 4 finger widths below our navel, above our perineum, traveling in front of the spine. From this perspective, it supports our ability to be aware and therefore notice our breath, notice the phenomena around us. And just feeling into that support of where our awareness resides inside of our bodies. And allowing ourselves to be supported, moving our attention to our breath. It is okay wherever you might find your breath. It's okay to just track it there. Maybe you track it at the top of your nose. Just feeling the air come in and out. Maybe it's your throat. Maybe it's your lungs expanding. Or maybe you're taking it all the way to the bottom of your belly, to your dough. There's no right answer. We're just trying to be here with our breath, which is always in the present moment. I will chant Hum. Om, Just being a little curious about the sensations in your body and the state of your mind after chanting. And maybe nothing changed, it's all the same. And it's a fair answer. I just invite you to be curious. As that experience subsides, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Noticing if there's build-up tension around your shoulders, or your jaw, or your belly. As you exhale, letting go of your shoulders, just dropping them away from your ears, bringing some space between your teeth, and letting your belly relax and just do what it wants to do as opposed to tightening. This relaxation allows your breath to expand deeper into your body, nourishing your cells, taking away carbon. We'll chant home again. Letting go of that experience, just like everything else, it's transitory and impermanent. Taking a deep breath into your belly, expanding through your rib cage, and letting go out the mouth and just refreshing your attention here in your breath. As you notice yourself being distracted by thoughts of present, past, or future, just gently noticing it, label it as thinking, without getting involved in the storylines or trying to suppress it and fight it. Just notice it. Nod your attention back to your breath. A little bit like an old person watching young kids play in a field. Not really trying to get involved or too concerned with what's actually happening, just enjoying the present moment, the immediacy of the breath. And we'll chant home again. I'm going to take a little break from actual meditation. I'm going to read a passage from this book by Pema Chodron, Comfortable with Uncertainty. It's a really neat book. Each chapter is about one page, which it's really like digestible, something to like kind of read every day, just kind of like think of it as like fodder for my meditation or what's going on with life, and just kind of just food for thought, I suppose. In particular today, I'm going to be reading page 97, chapter 89, called The Three Methods for Working with Chaos. Personally, I love that title. There are There are three very practical ways for relating with difficult circumstances as the path of awakening and joy. No more struggle, poison is medicine, and regarding everything that arises as the manifestation of wisdom. The first method is epitomized by meditation instruction. Whatever arises in our minds, we look at it directly, call it thinking, and go back to the simplicity and immediacy of the breath. When we encounter difficulties in our lives, we can continue to train in this way. We can drop the storyline, slow down enough to just be present, let go of the multitude of judgment and schemes, and stop struggling. Second, we can use poison as fuel for waking up. In general, this idea is introduced to us with Tuglin. Instead of pushing difficult circumstances away, we can use them to connect with other people who, just like us, often find themselves in pain. As one slogan puts it, when the world is filled with evil, transform all mishaps into the path of enlightenment. The third method for working with chaos, is regarding whatever arises as the manifestation of awakened energy. We can regard ourselves as already awakened. We can regard our world as already sacred. This view further encourages us to use everything in our lives as the basis for attaining enlightenment. The world we find ourselves in, the person who we think we are, these are our working basis. This charnel ground called life is the manifestation of wisdom. This wisdom is the basis of freedom and is also the basis for confusion. In every moment, we make a choice. Which way do we go? How do we relate with the raw material of our existence? I mean, I think this is super relevant. I mean, it's always relevant, right? But it's really relevant to maybe the circumstances we're living in today, in a often seemingly hopeless world of chaos. Can we work with it? Can we be more compassionate before? Can it soften us? Instead of hardening us, can we show up better? Can we open our hearts? Can we be more present with each other? Can we let go of some of the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening to us and realize that it's just happening, and just choosing to be present and there for each other. I don't know. I just think it's a message of hope. It's a message of love, of compassion. Anyhow, does anything come up with for you, or anybody at a distance would like to say anything? Thoughts, insights, questions? Sure. Do you have a microphone? Yeah, awesome.
I like that. I like that passage. I have that book as well, and I think. I mean, I like how it makes, or it suggests to take a different perspective to harsh circumstances and stuff. Also, personally, me, I think the word chaos is attractive, so it's interesting. But it makes me think, because a while ago, I used to be a big practitioner, and maybe you or the llamas can answer this, but like I got run over by a bus, and then because when you were saying this right now, when you're reading that, it reminded me of that. And I got run over by a bus, and I was in physical pain for a long time. I really dropped my practice. I tried, but like I was in physical pain like every second of the moment. And then I had PTSD, so my brain was kind of fried out. So I was wondering if y'all have any. I don't have that anymore, and I'm here, and I try to practice all the time. But if y'all have any suggestions, because when you were reading it, I was thinking about the period when I was in physical pain all the time, and it was like every time I try to be present, I would just be miserable.
It's tough, right? I mean, and there's not like particularly good answers, and I like look. I'm not a llama. I'm not. I'm not representing here like what the llamas might think or have to say. But I think I've heard this before from practitioners throughout throughout retreats in my life. Like, I'm in physical pain. I'm trying to meditate. It hurts. Like I don't want to be present with the pain. Um, I don't know if there's a good answer to that, right? Like it's. Oh, Harvey has some comments. Okay, that is our llama.
Well, first I saw Nancy had her hand up, so maybe Nancy should say what she wants to say. Then I'll address what Madeline brought up.
It was just a quick thing. The last statement that everything is just raw material really impressed me with when I look at whatever happens as raw material, instead of conceptualizing about it, I'm 5 steps ahead than when I've conceptualized about it already. And that even applies to pain. It's ghastly sensation, but my story is much more complicated and harder to deal with. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Nancy.
So I can say something now. You know, I think we all, in a way, hope for a bit of a digital on-off switch to pain and misery and suffering. And I don't think that is actually available. And I think, in a way, it wouldn't even honor human experience if it was. And sometimes people present as if they've got all the answers to the human perplexity. And I think most of us don't relate to that if we hear it. Just a few things I would say is that the second approach that she mentions, where when we're in pain, to become aware of the fact that all sentient beings are in some sort of pain, and if we can have even 1% of our attention, just, I'm in so much pain, may all beings be free from such pain, is enormously significant practice. The other thing I would say is that I'm aware that a colleague, Shinzen Young, has a couple of books on working with pain, specifically physical pain. And, if we cultivate certain kind of even awareness over time, there may be some facility at becoming more balanced with respect to physical pain. And even there, sometimes it's so overwhelming, he would suggest find some place in your body that is not feeling pain and see if you can touch into that. So there are some things we can attempt, but I think the most important thing is to acknowledge our humanity and our vulnerability, and that none of us can practice 100% of the time, and under duress, maybe none of us can practice. But even if we can't, can we bring the mind of, here I am in this total and utter failure with respect to practicing, but so many sentient beings are similarly afflicted. May we all be free of such obstruction. And that is a very, very deep practice. And if that attitude towards difficulty can permeate our lives, when we are faced with difficulty, I think it's enormously heart opening in the long run. We may not feel better, we may not get over our pain. I don't think it's realistic to expect that, but it frames our experience in a very, very different context.
Thank you, Harvey. That was very insightful, as always. Anybody else have any thoughts? Anything that comes up? All right. Well, we'll meditate for a few more minutes. If there should be a book of names, it's back there. We just anybody that we choose to dedicate the merit, we really dedicate the merit to all sentient beings, but in particular, everybody who needs a little bit extra oomph in their lives, or might have passed away recently. We write their names in here. All right. Well, let's meditate for about 5 more minutes. Bring your attention back home to the present moment, connecting with our breaths, which are the gateway to our bodies. We're always in the present moment. We always carry them with us. And we can always access them if we want to. Noticing if there's any excess tension that might have crept up in our bodies. As we exhale, letting go of our shoulders away from our ears, our bellies, our jaw, our eyes. Remembering the 3 pillars of support: earth, our bone structure, and our central channel. Thank you for sharing your breath with me today. We will. I'm just waiting for the book. Oh, yeah, if you have to add something, I mean, it's okay.
What's that?
I thought you might be adding something.
I just noticed.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hello, Annie has her hand up.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to thank you. Today had a little bit more guiding, which I found to be very helpful today because my mind is distracted by some hurt and disappointment and anger. And I thought it would be hard for me to focus when I came. So this extra guiding, I really appreciated that. It helped. And then it finally clicked that analogy when you said like an old person. I think you meant older person watching a field of children playing, right? That because I know people say clouds, your thoughts are clouds going away, but the children, that analogy really clicked in for me today. So that was so helpful. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, happy that was helpful, and yeah, always hard to know what's too much or what's too little guidance. So I'm happy that was helpful, and I just want to say good for you for finding your cushion when it's you're not maybe all the way there emotionally. I think sometimes those are the hardest times to practice, but I personally find them the most fruitful. And sometimes it's frustrating because you get distracted 30 times and you think about the thing you didn't want to think about. But that's really, you know, using the poisonous medicine, right? We have that poison and we're drinking that poison and then trying to make medicine out of it. So hey, good for you. Thank you for sharing. So we'll dedicate our merit and then we'll do the blessing. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings every one to reach to that very ground. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandalam. We dedicate our merit to all sentient beings, and in particular today to Carol Hoy's brother, Beatrice Hood, Bridget, Bradley and Bardo, Patricia, all subjected to war and engaging in war, Pat, all afflicted with illness, Catherine Stevenson, Michelle, Mandolin, Jenna, Danny, Mom, Sean, Amy, Valerie, Robert Romero's dad and mom, Carlene, Tex, Maxwell, Nancy, Hannah, Darcy, all people with food insecurity, Cosmo and Bardo, Laura, all animals, victims of oppression. And we'll close our practice today with an ah. And as we chant ah, we imagine first and foremost that there's light going from our heart to ourselves. So we're giving light to ourselves. Then from that light, we expand it to everybody in the room and online with us. And we just keep expanding it, to our country, our world, our galaxy, our universe, really wherever your imagination can reach, the multiverse, whatever it can go, just let your imagination and your light go. thank you again. And do we have any announcements? Okay, if you give me 2 seconds, Emily will come in and give you some announcements. Well, we read for Emily something that I was thinking here. That analogy of the older person watching children at a park. I recently did it was a Native American meditation, and the way he described it was when you take the leash off your dog and you let him run, it's kind of the same with your thoughts. You know, you're not trying to control them, you're chasing after them, you're kind of just letting them do their thing.
So, Friday the 28th, for those of you in person, we are going to have our LOSAR potluck. It's very exciting. This is usually our biggest event, our most well-attended event. We have great food. We have all these traditional Tibetan New Year things that we do, like the dispelling of the negativities. Yeah, it's working. It's great. We do have Teaching Tuesday this week. That's this Tuesday. Guru Yoga retreat on 7th, 8th, and 9th of March, and a Lama Tenzin retreat on the 29th and 30th. We will also have 2 retreats in May. 2 retreats in May. The first is POA, and the second is Kempo Yeshi. The second is the Kempo Yeshi ground fruition path prayer. And we're going to figure out what's going on here in the temple. So thank you guys. I don't know why everything's falling apart today. We're going to get it fixed today. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need those negativities dispelled. Thank you.
I guess I gotta do Raj.
You think everybody's out because it's Valentine's Day weekend, Doris? We usually have people.
Lovely to see everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.